Our purpose is to build a holistic voice that creates a community of like-minded, healthy people for a healthier planet. Our goal is to unify the community, nourishing the growth in mind, body, spirit, awareness, and wellness. We want to engage our community and visitors so they have access to powerful momentum of the holistic presence in our community. We do this by creating awareness through interviews, providing education and awareness of cutting-edge modalities. We also provide access for consumers to quality natural health and wellness professional and practitioners and like-minded business that support this community. Thank you for listening with us on Healthy Planet One. Stay with us for the next interview with our next holistic guest.
Hello, everyone. This month's focus is all about the creative process and finding joy and fun in daily life through various ways and modalities. This is a diverse topic, and we have really some exciting guests to share from their fields of focus, and we invite you to listen with us every week. And today, we're so happy to have Kimberly KNOX. Hello, Kimberly. Welcome.
Hi. So here I am, the co-host.
And you are a certified integrated health coach, speaker, and specialty organic chef. And you've been revolutionizing the bioenergetic cooking experience with all of your energy. You're a very energetic person. And I love the approach that you take with your clients and with the people that you share your beautiful smoothies, organic foods, and juicing. So tell us a little bit about your background and you know, how can food be fun in the way that you look at it?
So my background, I call myself the original kind of organic girl, but I really derived my passion to be a health coach. It was a very organic experience. I like to refer to it as the Wayne Dyer, the shift experience. You know, really just growing up in Vermont, it was really part of my innate genius to really connect with food at this deep level, connect with green, connect with nature. We had a massive garden. We had fresh blackberries, which right now in Vermont are blooming out of control. So, I mean, really just going barefoot, being connected, picking stuff from the garden, bringing it inside. And I love to just, you know, experiment with food in that way. So that's where my passion and excitement comes from. It's really, really innate. So I think people feel that in my excitement. But making it fun, it's really, I am a highly creative person. And I think I've gone into careers that weren't as creative, like financial field where I started, but I really gravitated back to that real central creative force.
Well, let me ask you a really key question here, Kimberly, because we can live in a world of, I was listening to the radio the other day about the restaurant culture, and we so eat out and have fast foods and what have you. And people, I know that there's some people that I've talked to, they're like, oh, I don't want to cook at home. It's too much work. So how can we really make it fun? And what's the point of making it fun? Tell us a bit about how can we be fearless and creative in the kitchen?
So there's a whole things that go into that, but really, you know, Dr. Mark Hyman's been a real inspiration of mine. And as I speak in many of the venues that I speak in, he says, you know, the real cure to our health crisis that we're having now is back in the kitchen. So when I do my videos on YouTube, I express that. And In the Kitchen with KK came out way before, you know, any statement that I heard from Dr. Mark Hyman. But that empowerment and that responsibility, so that's education. That's a little bit of knowledge. But then to be creative, it's literally about just losing the fear and connecting with food. So, you know, that's why I always say the proof is in the pudding. So, you know that I've created an organic supper club, and that really just came out of my passion to reconnect people in a very small, simple way to how real cooked at food home, you know, food cooked at home that's fully organic, filled with energy of someone who loves to cook. And of course, if you're cooking for your family, you're putting a different intention than some chef. And everything is simple. I do not separate myself as a chef from the people. I call myself a chef for the people, because food is really, really simple in what we need to create that nourishment. So really losing the fear, having a little bit of knowledge, and then doing it. And of course, I do a lot of things. My hands-on stuff really help people. And one of my most recent clients, she goes, Kimberly, you really changed my life. I mean, not just her life, it was her family, her kids, her husband. Her husband loved now them cooking at home, and their kids loved like the new things that she was making that were healthier. So it does take a little effort, but it can be done. And it's about training the body and the taste.
So people come to you because of your enthusiasm, because of your health orientation, or because they want to lose weight, or what's the reason that they would come to you?
Well, definitely they feel my passion. Anytime I talk about food, I talk about food with such a reverence and such an enthusiasm for anything that I'm making, whether it's on my little Insta TV things or my YouTube channels. But a lot of people don't have energy. And that's the first clue. A lot of people do want to shed a few pounds. Those are all normal things that have led people down the path of diets, but they're not working. So what Dr. Mark Hyman found when he went to a person's home in South Carolina, just introducing them to real food really made a difference. And the whole thing, you had said that people don't have time or they think it's too expensive. But if you look at the money that's being spent on quote unquote junk food and actually going out to dinner, not only is it healthier for you, but you save a lot of money when you're focusing back in the kitchen, whether you just start 1 day a week or 2 days a week. Because
so tell us a bit of how you actually can inspire somebody, like I just said to you, who's like, oh, it's too much work. I mean, how do you inspire them that really lights them up and has them want to do that? That's the key. Right?
Yeah. So like I said, first of all, proof is in the pudding. You know that I cook for an energy company. When they taste the food and they taste the energy in it, energy is basically, you're talking about, if you look at, they can measure photonic value, but so that's all like scientific. But when you taste the energy of food in your body, something clicks. You're like, wow, I'm not feeling sluggish and awful. My body is absorbing this food like it's like I haven't eaten in years. And then my body feels great the rest of the day. There's a little switch that goes off because you have to taste it. It's like test driving a car. But everything I do is delicious, not deprived. None of my clients ever feel deprived. It's the difficult, like I fix them with snacks, and we go to higher fiber, higher fat and protein. That's what we focus on, the good stuff, keeping their blood sugar stable. But really getting them inspired is having them feel new things, try new things slowly. As the body starts to shift, then they all of a sudden go, wow, I feel so good. They try to actually eat something that's not good. I just met with a client today, and she said, you know what? I had a little craving. She goes, I ate these chips and I didn't feel good after. So we explored, all right, why did you have the craving? We just kind of explore it, and then we can get to the bottom of the craving, and we can address it in a more root cause kind of way, because there can be a lot of reasons why somebody's craving something to crunch.
Oh, right. Yeah. And you know, I know I've had some of your food, Kimberly, and it is really fantastic. But you know, I come across these people who say, and I know you use organic food. You know, when you're talking about organic and you're talking about healthy, people often think about, well, it's expensive and I really don't have the time. How do you overcome those kinds of questions?
Oh, first of all, right now, we have to shift our priorities. It's perceived obstacles only. They're only perceptions. Right now, the commercial food is killing us. We no longer have a choice not to make the time, not to get back connected. Because what's happening is that we're handing over this important task to corporate food America, who's making millions and millions of dollars on us, billions. We're losing the connection with food and the empowerment over our health. And then we get upset when we get sick. So quite frankly, I have to lay it out for them. We no longer have the choice. We have to make the connection. However, once you pile up all the junk food, I go to people's homes and I look into the pantry. If they literally just took a little adding machine and added up all the money that they're spending on junk food, it's going to accumulate to a ton. And Whole Foods is not expensive. And like if you just replace it, so you eating clean, real food saves you money and time. I mean, it really does once you add it up. It's only a perceived obstacle. And you'll find that, I explain this to people, when you have fat cells that are wanting to be fed, your body's not being nourished, because when you're feeding it empty calories, a lot of us are just walking around overfed and starving. I was too, except for I was skinny. Not skinny, I was thin, but I was still starving. I wasn't getting the nutrients. So
when you say you're starving,
nutrient deprived.
Starving.
Yes.
They're eating all the time, but they don't think they're starving, right?
Well, a lot of people are starving, and they're feeding their fat cells because fat cells scream to be fed. That's all they want. If you're starving at 10 o'clock at night, there's absolutely no reason for you to be starving really at 10 o'clock at night. And what are you going to do with all the food? Because your body has to start digesting. But the thing is, it's not to shame anyone. We're addicted to bad food. They hire people to make us addicted. So once we can just get our body a little bit cleaned up, and that's what I only focus on the first couple weeks when I'm meeting with my clients, is just gently cleaning up the body and giving it some nutrients. Literally, the green smoothie that I started with from a doctor that talked about the pH balance in the body, that changed my life. I was not getting enough nutrients. That means micronutrients. People talk about macros all the time. They're counting everything. It's getting so confusing. Literally, if you just feed your body what it needs, the minerals, the vitamins, antioxidants, good fats, things for your liver. The liver's taking a big toll, as you know. Giving our body what it needs to gently detox, it's going to unleash the fat cells that we have being stored. And then it's going to be nourished.
That's true. And can you share some of your client experiences with the simple creative cooking and how it's transformed their lives?
Sure. So I do what I call like half day and full day experiences. And first of all, we're creating a foundation in the home. If you do not have a foundation for health in the heart of your home, which is your kitchen, it's going to be very difficult for you to stay on track. It's also going to be, I'll address creativity because that's one of the things. You need to have a working foundation to be creative in and to get excited about. But so I met this entire family. This was way up in Clearwater, 9 o'clock on a Sunday. They got all their 5 children to meet me at Whole Foods. This is how important it was to them. At 10 a.m. we shopped. I explained everything. We bought all new ingredients because I give them a list of stuff that they need to throw out, the acceptable oils, the acceptable sugars, sweeteners, things that they need for their smoothies, healthy, a whole bunch of stuff. So we shopped for like an hour and a half. We went home. We threw out a bunch of old stuff. The husband was thrilled to death. The kids got all excited about reorganizing. Things looked nice. We took all the crumbs out of the cabinets. And then we went to work at actually touching and preparing the food. Root vegetables, they'd never really known that much about them. So they were getting experience with simple fruits and vegetables and just learning. We made like some healthy snacks. I introduced them to a gluten-free black beans pasta. We made bison balls in a new way, bison meatballs, and we actually made it into they love meatloaf, but they were putting like ketchup in it. They were putting in, milk and other stuff that ends up just being inflammatory. So
and
all
just an example of ketchup, for example, is very loaded with high fructose corn syrup, which is going to spike your insulin like ridiculously, right?
Yes. I mean, sugar, of course. So sugar is a it's a huge problem with any types of processed food and condiments